All right, everyone, it's Ben Snyder here for Season 1, Episode 2 of Ben Talk Sports. Today we are joined by a special guest, Mason Eddinger, member of 91.1 WHSK. Uh, he's our second guest here on Ben Talk Sports for the second episode of the season. Mason, how are you today?
I was hot driving here. It was very, very hot today, getting up to 97, 98 degrees. But I would much rather that than it be 2, 3 feet of snow. I'm doing great. It's the middle of July, middle of summer. I can't wait for the football season to get going. I'm sure you feel the same way. Kind of get busy again, but I'm enjoying a little bit of a rest period and try to prep for everything that's going to happen in the next month and a half.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. I guess first off, you got a lot of experience in the sports world. Can you tell us what you've done to this point as far as your sports journalism and your media, just kind of what you do?
Yeah, so I started out, I believe, in 2022, so 4 years ago, coming up this August, at this company called Pennsylvania Football News, and they were great. I left them in October of 2025, joined Press Enterprise, the local paper. If you're around Bloomsburg, Berwick, Hazleton, Danville, that is their paper, their local edition. I do sports for them, high school sports, and then I double down with the Bloomsburg College athletics and the college sports. I'm the play-by-play slash color commentator for Bloomsburg football, Bloomsburg men's basketball, Bloomsburg women's basketball, men and women's soccer, and then just recently, I'm not going to say I'm the commentator for it because I've did 2 or 3 games, but I did do the last 2 or 3 games of Bloomsburg lacrosse, which was an adventure because I had never really known anything about lacrosse, don't really know what they did or how they operated. I watched a couple of videos and then just gave it a try out there. So that's what I do actually here in Bloomsburg, where we film a weekly radio show called Talking About Balls Tuesdays at 5 o'clock. Myself, alongside now 6 other people. We have 7 people joining the show. It's grown from just a two-man show when we first started out to now 7 people, which if in this studio we only have 6 microphones, so someone's going to have to share a microphone, try to get their talking points in. It won't be me, but it will be probably some of the new people that come on with it. So that's what I do in terms of in the more national news. In terms of NFL, NBA, college football, we talk from anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours every single Tuesday. And then something that we're starting coming up here as part of what I do on covering games for Bloomsburg is we're going to have a pregame show, full live pregame show. This area that I'm in now, this studio is the radio station for the McCormick Center. They underwent a huge multi-million dollar renovation to get some state of the art equipment like these microphones that I'm using. The computers here, we got like 15 monitors in a different room. It's high level stuff, and so we're going to utilize that to cover pregame show analysis, sideline reporting, all the stuff you'd see in a regular like NFL on Fox with all those guys that they have, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Kurt Menefee, and those type of guys, to bring together a 15 20 minute pregame show. And I'm kind of heading the direction of that. The woman that did it before, Addison Somberg, left as she graduated. So it is I would say my responsibility now to kind of lead the ship of that. So we're going to work with a couple of organizations that know a little bit more. I like to talk. I like to do all this stuff. Even just setting this up, I had to have help of a supervisor here in Bloomsburg to get onto the Zoom and understand how to do the microphone and everything. I'm kind of an old man when it comes to that type of stuff. I like to talk on a headset. I don't really know how to work it, but once you get me on here and I get talking, I'll try to do my best. But that's what we got coming up here in the fall. It is what, July 14th. So August 24th is when the school season starts. Coincidentally, that is my birthday. So that's a great way to start my birthday. It's always been that way every time the school starts, right on my birthday. But yeah, we got about a month and a half until it really kicks into gear, where a weekend could definitely be high school football on Friday. I didn't even mention that. We're doing right on the radio station a 10-week high school football season. We did a game a couple of weeks ago. Ben was there, the District 4 All-Star game in Milton. As a test run, it went pretty well, pretty smooth. Myself alongside Chris Algard, who we've done over 70 games together, covering various different sports in Bloomsburg. So we're going to start with that. So it's going to get pretty busy in terms of Tuesday. doing the talk show. I also write for the student newspaper. I'm the sports editor there. That's a Monday and Wednesday thing. We'll probably record the pregame show on Wednesday. I usually got a game or two in there for soccer or whatnot. And then Friday night, high school football. Saturday, Bloomsburg College football. Sunday, nothing. Thank God. I need it.
And then as far as your pregame show goes, this is news to me as well. So is this something you plan on having done in the studio, and maybe what sports are you incorporating in that?
So we did a pregame show last semester into basically the end of fall 2025 into the spring of 2026. We did a pregame show for men and women's basketball, and it went well. It went nice. We had different people. We worked with the professors, the administrators to get the space. And this is a studio for radio broadcasting and whatnot. You see the little sound things here that try to encapsulate everything in. This is a soundproof building. These doors are the heaviest doors you're ever going to open. They're like 60 pounds to open because it's all about trying to keep the sound in. And then if you go down a couple of rooms down, we have a whole control room with different types of equipment, high level stuff like I think it's 800,000, $1 million worth of equipment in this room. And then if you go back, we have a big green screen with a table and just a typical kind of like news set you would see. And that's what we're going to utilize for football for sure. We're going to have to see if we have the manpower for basketball again, because how it works is, you know, we rely a lot on I'm a student at Bloomsburg. If you haven't guessed, I don't just do a million games as a outsider. We rely on students to help out, work in the camera, work in the graphics design and the teleprompter, the director and whatnot. So how the basketball season works is that it starts in, I think they start like November 18th this year, and then it runs all the way until February or sometimes March if the teams can make the playoffs. So you have a time period there where students usually get off like December 12th, 13th for winter break, and they don't return until January 27th. So there's a month and a half where you really have not many people in there helping you in the studio. So we'll see how that's going to go. I mean, it's easier. It's easy for me. I live in Berwick. If you folks know what that is, this is in Bloomsburg. It's 15 minutes away. It's a quick trip. I commute to school every single day, so it's not a problem for myself. But for someone that would live in a Philadelphia area, an Allentown area, even Pittsburgh or Erie, of course, they're not going to travel that far to do the pregame show. So football for sure. It's we're going to see how everything goes. We're going to have a new cast of characters as every year. I mean, I feel like a college football coach. Every year, you got to find new talent, and as everybody graduates and whatnot. So we're going to work it out with football, and we're going to see how it goes as a new direction of the show. We're going to try to incorporate different kind of like mini games and kind of segments or whatnot, like a hot take segment or a different types of stuff that you would see on a regular NFL on Fox, NFL on CBS, different games. We might have like a trivia question in there or something to keep it kind of a light pregame show to give people something to watch beforehand. Because if a game starts at 3 o'clock, most people are not tuning in right at 3. They might turn the stream on at 2:50 and it's just a screen that says 10 minutes until start. So we want to give them something that they can watch and they could be enjoyed with and kind of get a deeper understanding of the game, because when we come on, we only have a couple of minutes to actually get into storylines and whatnot. So I think that's a good thing that we're going to be able to do to kind of give fans more perspective in the games.
So is this something we're going to be able to see right there on 91.1 WHSK? Like the audio only pregame, that's kind of what we're looking at for this.
So actually, it's not. What I've been talking about on BUSN is live streamed on the Pennsylvania
Okay.
State Athletic Conference's website or app. So you can download the app, just the PSAC sports app. You got every team on there, and then you could also just go online to Bloomsburg Huskies on the PSAC network. So it is different than audio only. It's we have camera people and we have a full crew with different. It's basically a broadcast on TV on a computer, right? On streaming. You could put it really wherever you want. But that pregame show is going to be a visual demonstration as well with different people on the show, being able to see, just like what we're doing right here, seeing faces, seeing reactions, different things like that. So yeah, that'll be on streaming, just like BUSN is. Again, if you're not familiar with it, it's the every Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, the conference that Bloomsburg in conferences with teams like East Stroudsburg, Lock Haven, Westchester, Shippensburg, those type of teams at the Division II level. They all have a production, and they're all required to broadcast their games. So that's what Bloomsburg does, and not many. I don't know if really any schools in the conference have a pregame show that they do. So it's pretty cool to kind of be the first one and maybe be a pioneer for a potential movement in the conference.
Why did you decide for 91.1 that high school football is what you wanted to introduce in the fall? What kind of inspired this movement?
Yeah, so for the longest time, I love commentating games. Like I do a lot of writing. I've written hundreds of articles over the years, different high school games and even Penn State football, which was a great experience. But for me, writing is cool, but it's not broadcasting, it's not talking. And I think if you've been watching the show for the past, I don't know, 5 minutes, you can see that I ramble on a little bit. I talk a good amount, maybe a little bit longer than old Ben Snyder would have liked. But I talk, and I like to just give fans a visual, an audio description of the game. And the studio, and I on 91.1, I'm always just trying to I always bug the people here at Bloomsburg about just, is there anything I could do more? You always want to do more, right? Um So I saw that during basketball season, two guys, legendary broadcasters, Jim Doyle, he's done Berwick football since like the '70s. He's done Bloomsburg football as well since the '70s, and Larry White. They do basketball games, and I saw the kit they were doing. We're all up in the press box. I'm over to the left at the BUSN stand. They're over on the radio stand, and I see the kit, and it's a very familiar kit. It's the same one they had in the studio. So I just went up and asked him, "Hey, nobody's on the radio on Friday. Do you mind if I just take the kit and if I find someone to be in the studio to go in and out of commercials and whatnot, can we do it?" They said, yeah. And that's what we're going to start coming up on August 28th when the high school season starts.
Now, you have a ton of experience, as you said, with BUSN on the live TV aspect of things. Of course, for the District 4 All-Star game, it's audio only on 91.1. What do you think the biggest adjustment has been for you? Maybe what you learned in that game as far as streaming on TV where the viewer can see what's happening versus when they can only hear the audio?
Yeah, it's so different when you're doing a radio broadcast compared to a on air on a TV screen where everybody can see what's happening. You got to describe everything. I mean, it's just they can't see anything. I mean, it's imagine you're having your eyes closed and you're at a stadium and you want to know what's happening. You have to describe the down and distance, what yard they're on. If a guy's going in motion, what side is he going? Is he going left to right? Is he going right to left? So there's a major difference. I thought it was a great experience for us to go out and do that game. And I'm still working on some of the terminology, right? It's tough to kind of get those habits out. A couple of times I said, John Smith is at the bottom of your screen. Of course, there's no screen there. But that's just some of the terminology I've gotten used to when calling games where everybody can see what's happening. So I relish the opportunity to just try to be the best storyteller possible. And that's what radio broadcasting is. You got to be able to tell the story because the viewers that are listening don't know what's happening. They don't know the score. You got to say the score as many times as possible, right? Even if you felt like you said it 2 minutes ago, if a guy is tuning in, he wants to know the score. He wants to know what time is left. He wants to know the down and distance. So just being able to describe everything. And in that radio broadcast, you got to go for a long time. My voice needed a big time bit of rest on that Saturday after the game because you're just talking and talking and talking because you need to fill in everything. So radio is just like, it's like an auctioneer at an auction. You just got to go, 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 and try to describe everything to the best of your ability.
And then on these Friday nights, I know we talked a little about this, but can you tell us a little about what's going into your selection as far as games, where you want to call games?
So first off, we want to get a variety, right? We want to go and try to get the way the station works. It's a 25 to 30 mile radius. So here in Bloomsburg, it goes as far as Wilkes-Barre towards the east, and it's going to hit almost Selinsgrove and Lewisburg out to the west. So there we have a big area, and we're going to try to get as much diversity in our teams as possible. We want to highlight some of the pedigree of the region as well. Southern Columbia is one of the best teams to ever play high school football in Pennsylvania. Mount Carmel's a legendary program. Shamokin has been really good as of late. There's also some cool places to just attend to. Bucknell usually, or excuse me, Lewisburg sometimes plays at the Bucknell Stadium for their high school games. So it's just trying to get, I think if what we can do, if we can get an overall just feel of the area, but whether it be District 2 or District 4 in high school football, trying to go to different venues to give fans a different perspective. We don't want to go to the same team 6 times in a year. We want to go to see different players, different games with different playoffs situations that, of course, will give us a better experience calling games, to where if one time we're going to Crestwood and then the next week we're heading to Central Columbia and then we're going to Selinsgrove, just a different a diversity that really is going to be able to keep us on our toes, as it's more of a like a traveling circus around the area.
So would you consider covering playoffs in addition to that? And if you are, how far do you think that would go? Maybe just if there's a state quarterfinal game in the area, is that something that you would be interested in covering as those playoff events?
Yeah, certainly. So when talking to the athletic directors, one thing they made clear is that the bigger game, of course, the more media they have to give out, and some of these press boxes are not that big. They haven't been renovated or built or changed since 1964, right? So when you get into these playoff games, I think that's something we're going to have to figure out when it gets there, especially if we get deeper in where it's neutral site and you really don't know where we're going to a different game. I think it'd be very cool to get a couple of playoff games in early. Um, Games I went to last year on Halloween night in Bloomsburg. They had a really nice press box up there. It was spacious. We had definitely enough room. So different areas around there. That's something that it's you can't schedule a playoff game, right? You can't say, oh, we're going to go to X, Y, and Z in the first round, because they might not be hosting. They might not even make the playoffs that year. So that's something that when we get deeper into the season, when we get to week 7, week 8, week 9, that's something I think we cross the bridge.
Is there any specific players this year for you that are sort of on your radar? Now, I know we have Logan Steele at the top. We have returners like Grady Garcia, those top guys. But is there anyone in particular to you that stands out as maybe an underdog heading into the season that you think is going to have a breakout year?
Not so specifically players, but I'm looking at a lot of teams, because last year was a really interesting year in high school football. We had a lot of teams that I at least expected to be good really weren't, and we had some teams that I saw coming out of nowhere and being very good. North Pocono was really good. That's a little bit out of our region what we're covering games. Really interested to see where Danville's going to go. They get a new head coach, Sean Sheptock, in. They have fallen on tough times the last couple of years, but that was the team to beat in this area for the longest time. They had some really good battles with Southern Columbia and whatnot, and they made it pretty far into the 3A playoffs. They had a rough season last year. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do. We are going to a game this year in Danville. We're not really sure what game we're at yet. We're between 2 or 3. That schedule is going to come out the first week of August, so we're still trying to finalize everything. But I'm very interested in them. Is it a trend that's going to continue where they're only going to win 4 or 5 games, or was it just a minor setback and they're back to winning district championships and competing, going 12 and 13 win seasons?
Has there been a favorite event of yours that you've covered? So kind of stepping away from what's upcoming, but in the past, has there been a favorite event? I know you mentioned you covered some games at Beaver Stadium. Uh, whatever it is, high school sports, college sports, anything you've done that stands out to you in particular that you've enjoyed covering.
Yeah, certainly. And it was at Beaver Stadium. It was 2024. Trying to remember the date. I think it was November 3rd. I don't know. All I remember, it was the I don't know how I remember this, but the presidential election was that Tuesday. It was like Saturday, and then the presidential election was on Tuesday. So whenever the 2024 election was 2 days prior, it was Penn State, Ohio State, number 3 in the country versus number 4 in the country. At that time, the most sold out game in Beaver Stadium history. Oregon last year overtook them for that record. But that was just so cool. I mean, College Game Day was there, and I'm a huge College Game Day guy. So I got to take a picture with Nick Saban and Kirk Herbstreit and Reese Davis and all those guys, and it's just there was a decent decent amount of even celebrities there. Shane Gillis was there. Of course, obviously Pat McAfee was there. Keegan Michael Key, the big Penn State fan on Key and Peele, was there. Bo Nickel was there, UFC fighter that went to Penn State. It just felt like Jason Kelsey was there. It felt like it was a big time game. Penn State lost that game as they often do to Ohio State, but that was just an atmosphere that you just couldn't miss. You talk about the star power on the field. I mean, you had Jeremiah Smith on the field, you had Emeka Ibuka on the field, you had Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter. I mean, so many guys that we're going to look back in 10, 15 years and say that's an NFL Pro Bowler. That's an NFL Pro Bowler. And just the talent watching that game. I mean, Ryan Day's a great coach. To see Ohio State, a team that is just that's like a bookmark kind of. You got to go see Ohio State play. You got to go see Notre Dame play. You got to go see Alabama play. That's one of those blue bloods in college football. So that was really cool. The atmosphere was great. Again, Penn State did lose, but it was a great game all around. And that was, of course, Ohio State on their route to a national championship game. And it was the loudest I've ever seen a stadium wherever I've been. And I've been in some pretty big Penn State games. I've been to 4 whiteouts in the past. So it was really cool for that to be a noon game as well. I mean, imagine if that was a 7:30 kick as a noon game. It was very electric there. And it was really cool to be there on the field just watching two of the best teams in the country go at it.
And when you mentioned Nick Saban, Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, is there any one of those guys at the top of the sports media realm that you kind of look up to, or you enjoy listening to, or you enjoy seeing their writing or their pregame, postgame analysis, sideline commentator, anyone that sticks out to you as someone you like to learn off of?
I think the gold standard in terms of commentators is Jim Nance. Just his ability to be diverse in what he does. From he doesn't do March Madness anymore, but he did March Madness for the longest time, and he has some of the most iconic calls ever. The Villanova buzzer beater with Chris Jenkins. He did the Masters. He's still doing the Masters. He's done that since 1986, and it's 2026. So if my math is correct, that's 40 years of covering the most prestigious event probably in America, just in terms of the pedigree of it. And then he's the lead guy on CBS for the NFL. So his diversity, I think he's the gold standard. If more specifically in that college game day crew, if you've never seen a Reese Davis monologue to start college game day, I mean it's one of the greatest things. He encapsulates the crowd so well. He does his research; it's top notch. When you wake up on that Saturday morning and it's a raucous crowd wherever it may be, and you got Reese Davis pumping through your television, is A1 tier. I remember when they were at Washington State, and if you folks are familiar, they had a flag. Old Crimson is a Washington State flag that they flew around all around the country. They went to every college game day game, and for 184 straight games, going from California to Texas to New York all the way, and then they finally went to that one, and there was like 40,000 Washington State flags. And Reese Davis in that kind of opening, he just does a great job encapsulating what that moment felt like for really a small school like Washington State. I mean, they're tucked up there. They got 30,000 people. They're back in the Pac-12, which is a shamble of a conference right now. But yeah, Reese Davis on college game day, but I think the gold standard for commentary is Jim Nance.
We just go to football in general, under the lights, that kind of style. How would you describe a football venue in a perfect situation? So whether it's a crisp fall night, however you want to describe it, what does a perfect night for football look like in your eyes?
Yeah, so it's gonna be week 6. It's gonna be the first week of October, and it's gonna be two teams that are into the playoffs pretty nicely, right? But they both got some flaws and they still got to figure some stuff out. And probably they got a little bit of history with each other. And it's just a simple close game where both teams don't really make many mistakes. And it comes down to the end. And it's a game where you walk out of it and you feel they'll probably see each other in the playoffs. Right when we get to actually winning time in October, November football, when it feels like the first couple weeks, you just kind of see where your team's at. And when both teams play and they know they're really darn good, that's when you get the best games.
And then I think a matchup the last couple years that has sort of seemed to look like that, other than the district final last year, let's take a look at Shamokin and Jersey Shore quickly before we start to wrap up. What do you expect between those two teams this year? First, I'd like to say, of course, we get Logan Steele back, Colin Steiner on the Shamokin side, and Jersey Shore, Nolan Paulin. Maybe what you expect out of that matchup this year. I think week 4.
Yeah, so I think Shamokin comes out a little bit stronger as they've kind of had the last couple of years. I was at a game, a district semifinal between I believe it was a district final, Shamokin and Jersey Shore 2 years ago. It's just an all-time classic of a game. Both teams really gave it away at the end. Jersey Shore had an extra point to tie it up. It was a bobbled snap. Elijah Jordan had to roll out. He threw it to, I believe, Bo Sechrist. It was a good pass, just fell right through his hands. Jersey Shore, you expect them. They're like a team that, it doesn't matter how much they lose in the last couple of years. They're going to come equipped and ready to play. I think Shamokin is a little bit more of a stronger team as they've been in the last couple of years. But I mean, if Jersey Shore can get them on the right night, I think they have another chance to beat them, whether it be regular season or come the district playoffs.
As time gets near running out on the Zoom, just broadly, is there anything that you would want listeners to know about what 91.1 WHSK? Obviously, you mentioned everything that they're going to bring this fall, but is there something that you want the viewers and listeners to know that makes your radio station special about what they're going to do come fall?
So 91.1, first off, it is the only time ever in the station's history, this radio station's been around for about 40 years, that we've covered high school games. This is primarily a Bloomsburg University station. And one thing that I think makes us unique is it's all students trying to get better at this. Myself, I'm a junior coming in. Chris Algard's going to join us a couple of games. He'll be a senior. Noah Cook is going to be a sophomore who'll help us out a lot. So it's all people that are the future of broadcasting. And hopefully we can show out and perform, even though it's not at a professional level where we're getting paid, an $80,000-$90,000 a year to do it. It is a couple of students trying their best to make a future in high school football and trying to do it in a way that makes it seamless and you're watching it. You don't really feel like it's two students. You feel like it is actually professionals doing it.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. The second episode of Ben Talk Sports here with Mason Eddinger. Mason, we're wishing you all the best luck come fall. We have a similar vision to you as far as pregame, as the main vision and focus for us and my crew is to start a pregame, postgame talk show, continue with the interviews, and we'll certainly be cheering you on as hopefully the number one radio crew in the district. I think it's certainly safe to say this is great things for high school sports and especially high school football with what it brings to the table to have groups like SECV on TV and 91.1 WHSK on radio and just really expanding on what high school football sports coverage looks like here in District 4. So, Mason, thank you for coming on today. Thank you for your time and good luck when it comes to the fall sports.
I appreciate you.